right? And Venus and Jupiter, they play strong factors in his chart, right? Mercury is in close proximity and Venus is in close proximity with the sun. This is great because their values can represent them. And Venus conjunct Sun, they can deal with women of a prominent high status, but their partners can be low-key, but they can also, in a way, sometimes outshine their partners, but that's because they're just more prominent, right? But in Biden's case, his Venus might not be so strong, but his sun is in Scorpio. So for Scorpio, the sun, this will be a neutral vibe. This is where it picks up energy coming out of the fall season. With where his Venus is positioned, this can make someone a solid representative, right? And remember, we're talking about the president of the United States. So that Venus, sun conjunct Venus, that's a very important placement for Biden. If you've been paying attention, this dichotomy is very similar to Kendrick Lamar and Drake. Venus and Jupiter are conjunct for these guys. It's interesting because Jupiter shows how we expand our values, while Venus is how we reserve and sensationalize them. So in Biden's case, with the Venus combust, this guy is a serious Scorpio sun. He knows how to absorb the working efforts of others, but this can create some interesting, scandalous things as well, right? And we're not here to push political biases with astrology, but I'd say this sometimes with anyone with the Venus and Sun conjunct in Scorpio, right? But hands down, the strongest part of the chart in these guys' charts is their Can-star placements. In reference to that, Biden's Jupiter turns him up in reference to the country. Jupiter and Can-star natives are extremely loyal to their families and have extremely expansive interests. Pinning what motivates these individuals down is trippy. But the root of it, Can-star, right? Can-star is the root of it. They'll always put family first and taking care of their immediate circle pretty much above everything else, even their network. And this is where you want Jupiter in tandem with the 4th house, okay? And notice, the Gemini stellium that Trump has pretty much goes right up in comparison with the stelliums of Drake and Kendrick. So it's slightly a similar alignment to a degree, because the degrees are the factor here, the degree, right? So this shows a kind of forecasting for what the election would be like, which is kind of like Drake and Kendrick part 2. It's the same energies involved: Gemini, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Can-star, right? Drake with Kendrick, with Biden and Trump having that Jupiter-Venus conjunction. This is certain to hype up their social atmosphere. And we saw that during Trump's first run. And on top of this, with an upcoming Uranus return in Gemini, this points toward progression in the social atmosphere. But in Astrostetics, we mentioned that Uranus and Gemini for the collective is a different situation. Even if you look 80 years before America became a nation, we saw numerous changes in that time. We saw changes in the government of South America. The English and French was getting it popping during that time. This can produce massive social shifts. We're not saying that